Hello and welcome to Connections Forum for Relationship, Expression and Healing, episode 48. And this is our first year. The whole year we have done episodes most every week. And this is the last session of the season. So we feel really good about that. Connections Forums offers interviews and talk about the most important areas of our lives, such as relationship, developing higher levels of consciousness and awareness, and expressing who you are, and also to continue your personal healing process. The purpose of our shows is to inspire and teach you skills for dealing with the mental, emotional upheavals that happens to anyone from time to time. And all episodes are recorded and posted on our website, Hangouts on Connection. So interact with us live and on the replays by typing in your comments and questions in the chat box below. We will get all your questions answered. So today we are talking about elemental cuisine with Pamela Ziemann. She is a certified facilitator of the World Peace Diet and taught leadership skills and personal development courses since 1996. And Pamela graduated from Mankato State University with a degree in business administration in 1980 and worked in the corporate world for 10 years. She studied the works of Dr. Neil Bernard and Dr. Brian Clement, T. Colin Campbell, and Dr. Joel Furham, and also Dr. Janice Stanger. I hope I got that right. And before we introduce our guest, some word about us. I'm Margarita Crystal Lotus, and I am an intuitive life and business mentor, and I help professional women that are stressed out to come back to their natural state of mind so that they can deal with the problems in their life and relationships. I also are the host for the Enchantment Healing Retreat here in Kingston, Ontario for my private clients. And now over to you, Heidi.
Yeah, thank you, Margarita. I'm Heidi Hörnlein. I am a relationship coach and a counselor and a voice coach, and I was also a classical and opera singer before I began to teach and to do my relationship coaching work. I work with people who don't feel fully realized, and actually I help them to find their authentic voice, literally their authentic voice, and also their authentic voice in the world, their expression and what they want to do in the world. I'm here in Paradiso Integrale, which is a place here, our cultural association and our house and retreat center in Italy, in Umbria in Italy. And we expect you. Whenever you come to Italy, you can come as a guest, and we will be very, very happy to have you. Now I'm looking forward for Pamela. Pamela, it would be in Germany. So Pamela, how are you? Welcome.
I'm very good. Thanks a lot for having me. And thanks for the invitation to Italy. It's one of my favorite countries. I spent a couple weeks, well, actually I spent a month over there, and I loved every minute of it. The people are amazing. The scenery is beautiful.
This is for me, every time when I look out of the window, now it's the afternoon sun, you know, it's so shiny, so rich, the colors. It's still, I'm always in awe after almost 30 years that I'm here. So I really
awesome.
love it. And I invite everybody to come and see it and come and have a retreat with us, you know. This is a good occasion to come over.
Totally.
Next retreat will be, when was it? I think the end of April. So I will post it. But now we come to you. Your topic is elemental cuisine. I have never heard that before. Can you tell me what it is all about?
Elemental cuisine. I came up with that name because I love nature. and the 4 elements of nature, the earth, water, fire, and air, and how we can all get into balance, you know, and how it relates to food. Is sometimes we need spicier foods, sometimes we need comfort food, sometimes we need salty or sweet, or, you know, it's, what is it that will bring us into balance? And also, as Margarita said, you know, tuning into your natural wisdom. You know, you said something, oh yeah, your natural state of mind. How can we be more natural? And I think a lot of us have, you know, been in this mechanistic world for so long that we're trying to get back to nature. We're trying to just get back to our true human self, our natural self. And to do that, we're just going to have to be eating natural foods. I don't see any way around that.
This is a wonderful explanation. And I'm wondering, natural food, you know, when I go to the supermarket, there's a lot of stuff, and as when I was in America, that's even much worse than here. And I cannot see the naturalness anymore of the food.
I know. I do a lot of classes, and I get international people in my classes, my live classes, and sometimes we'll just take things from the grocery store and we'll Google the ingredients, what's on there. And I know a lot of people from Germany, they would say, I had no idea. You know, and you look it up and you actually Google the ingredients, like, this is lighter fluid. We have lighter fluid in my natural, what this one gal said, my favorite granola bar that I love to eat. And we just learn more and more the more investigating we do. Yeah, so I would say it's probably the worst here in the States, it seems to me.
Yeah, because you named Germany. I'm quite aware of reading the things. Now I'm a little bit blind. I have difficulty to read the things on the packages. But for many, many, many years, when I left Germany, it was in the 80s, we were so much aware of looking into what we are eating, you know? So,
and my brother would say, oh, I get so tired of reading labels. But I'm like, well, maybe you need to eat foods without labels. I mean, a carrot, you pull it out of the ground, it has no label. So that's better yet. Even if you're a little, you know, you're not seeing as clearly, you know when you pull it out of the ground and it's not in a package or a box, that's a good way to go. That simplifies things a lot.
It does quite a bit, but I just comes to my mind, you know, for instance, my ground here, I grew my own vegetables for more than 20 years. And when I had an analysis done, they said that I have a lot of, I think it was cadmium in the ground, which is a consequence of the eruption of the volcanoes 2 million years ago or something. So I want to say, even if you grow it naturally, sometimes there are some substances in the earth which are naturally in the earth, and we have other substances which come through the rain, come down, or people spraying, you know, it's so horrible whenever I see somebody spraying poison on their fields.
Well, it's not only that, it's the chemtrails too. So I think really, for me anyway, you need to be aware and do the best you can, but you can't freak out about it, because otherwise you don't have a happy life anymore. You know, you can bless the food and intend that you get all the nutrients from the food, but if we thought about the invisible cesspool that we're living in today, we just would not be able to be very happy creatures. So I think you do what you can, you do the best possible. And like my friend out here in Sequim, Washington, he has the best garden ever. He covers it with mulch, and his vegetables just taste different. And it's the care that he puts into it too. So it's all of our intention that goes into growing that produce.
This is fine. And before I give it over to you, Margarita, it makes me remember that I read some time ago that it depends very much on your mood when you eat. When you eat poisonous, let's say, poisonous stuff with fear, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, then it will make you weaker, so the poison can affect you. But when there were studies about it, but when you are sort of, as you said, bless the food and be in a how can I
A
say?
higher vibration. It's like
Yes.
you raise your vibration. Yeah, at the culinary school where I went to school, they had a big buffet. They had this buffet every day for people. And one day, the chef was in a terrible mood and was just chopping vegetables, and all of that anger was going right into it. And the instructor said, we watch people, and usually all the food would be gone, but that day, half the food was left on the table because people just didn't come back. And it's very revealing of that, and I'm sure all of the listeners out there, you've all had this experience where you've eaten something made from love, and you just, I mean, you can almost feel that love as you're eating it, because when somebody is really enjoying making the meal, it tastes different. And then back in the 70s and 80s, where we had all the advertisements that were indoctrinating us all that cooking is a chore and you don't want to spend your time in the kitchen, and then some of that energy went into it, like, why should I have to spend all this time in the kitchen? And then those kind of feelings also go into the food. And the highly sensitive people, and I think most people, but especially the real sensitive people, you really can feel that as you're taking it in. It might seem a little woo-woo and out there, but I think we've all had that experience.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have some comments here from first with Nassim Beltran, and he's saying working and listening at the same time. Thank you, Nassim. Come with more questions if you like. And then we have another comment from Michael Thomas. Chefs here, he says with a happy face. So the happy face is what we've talked about.
Hi.
So when the chef is here, we have another chef, as far as I know, Pamela. Tell me a little bit about your being a chef and what are you doing?
Well, it's probably the last thing in the world I ever thought I'd be doing. Honestly, I got into this because I just really love animals, and I thought, why not learn how to make some really incredible, delicious, tasty food that are plant-based for people? And that's why I went to culinary school. It wasn't because I grew up in a family where we were always in the kitchen and creating meals. That didn't happen at all. In fact, you know, I was the kind of person who would go to the grocery store once, buy all kinds of packaged foods so I didn't have to go back again. But the more I get into it and the more I've been working with it, to me, being a chef is like being an artist, especially when you're working with the textures and the contrast of colors and the beautiful creations you can have on your plate. And then the health. I mean, that wasn't my #1 reason for getting into this, but I have noticed that I dropped a bunch of weight, I feel a lot better, I've got more energy, and I sleep better. So it's all combined. The environmental issues, the animal issues, the health issues, it all works together. And I found what we do for the earth, we do for ourselves. So it's this symbiotic kind of relationship. Does that answer your question, or did I get off on a little...
Yeah, no, this is very nicely giving the background. I wonder what is your cuisine, the elemental cuisine?
Elemental cuisine, well, I went to the Living Light Culinary Arts Institute in Fort Bragg, California, which is all raw food. And when you go down there, you see no ovens. And it's amazing because you go in their kitchen and they have all kinds of trays and sprouting and things growing right in the kitchen. It's very beautiful. And so that was raw food culinary school I went to. I am 100% plant-based, but I don't do raw all the time. I do have some cooked foods, and I try to throw on, like, I just grew these sprouts I had to bring out because they're so beautiful, little broccoli sprouts. So if you can throw some broccoli sprouts on, you know, say for example you're having some soup, you know, throw them on top, because these are all live enzymes. This food is alive right now, so it doesn't take your body more enzymes to digest the food, because this is digesting the food already. So we're all born with a certain amount of enzymes in our body, and the more you can eat raw foods, the more you're adding to your bank account of enzymes, which help keep you younger longer. and it helps every metabolic function in your body. You know, every time you blink your eyes, all the amazing things our body does for us, it takes enzymes to keep that going. So the more live food you have, the easier it's going to be on your body.
So I wanted to ask a question there because my background is in healing, right? And we work with like energy. So what's your view on the life force content in your food, in the raw food, and in the food you you prepare?
Yeah, can you ask it one more time, Margarita?
Yeah, so you know, like if you have a person, I'm alive, right? And there is energy inside of me. And also when you show the raw vegetables so that you grow, that's a raw energy. There, it's not dead. But
Right.
so what's your view on that energy? How
Yeah.
powerful is that?
I believe it's incredibly powerful. In fact, I've been studying the different frequencies of different foods lately. There's Kirlian photography, which is a special kind of photography that will actually show the energy level of a food. And some of it, like this, very vibrant and alive. And other cooked foods, like dead foods, it's got very, very low frequency. So there's the Hertz frequency levels, and then there's the Kirlian photography. So it's not just woo-woo talk, it's actually scientific information that will show us that depending on the energy of the foods we take in, it will have an effect on us because we take that in. The title of your show is Connections, right? So we're connecting with that food, and when you connect with high vibrational foods, you're going to feel a higher vibration in your own body. And then I'm just thinking, isn't that amazing? Like our world, if you think about our world, it could just be people all around just vibrating at a higher and higher level and just feeling good and feeling enough energy that they can really accomplish their purpose on Earth, whatever that is for them. You know, but they're happy to get out of bed in the morning. And, you know, I'm like anybody else. I've got trials and tribulations too. But I do know that overall eating this way has made a huge impact in my vibration level. And we can get into the spiritual aspects of it as well if you want to later.
Very welcome. Talk about that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the spiritual aspect?
Let me ask first another question, because you say raw foods is high vibrations, and I do believe that it's all. What I have heard is when you have to digest raw foods, it is costs more to the body. It takes longer, and it takes more energy. And cooking is a sort of pre-digestion, let's say. What do you say to that?
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you brought that up, Heidi, because I believe that you cannot go to raw food like some of us have done. Go, any raw food is fantastic, because if you eat like a raw vegan cheesecake, it is worse for you than lightly steamed broccoli. You know what I mean? And some foods are much better when they're lightly steamed. I think the higher the temperature and the longer you cook it, the more you deplete it of its life force. It only makes sense. But if you steam things, I think that's great. And if you go under, in the States, 105 Fahrenheit, then you're going to keep all those enzymes. So people say in the winter, I need something warm. And it's like, warm up some soup. If you can put your finger in it and it's not boiling, you can have some raw marinara sauce, you know, that is warmed up, but it's not over that temperature where you are killing the life force of the food. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that, that we just have to be aware. You know, we can't be so dogmatic where it's like all this way or all that way. It's like, you know, just, does it feel better to eat some steamed broccoli? For me, it feels a lot better than eating raw broccoli, for example.
Yeah, for sure. And some vegetables are even poisonous. As I have heard, green beans, you shouldn't eat them completely.
And the same with mushrooms too. I've heard the same with mushrooms. Like I put them in my dehydrator, warm them up there.
Mm-hmm.
I I was into a retreat one time, very many years ago, and I wasn't approached by raw food or like totally raw. And then there was presenters there at the event, and then they served lunch. And I had some of that. I got sick. I got sick. I got like very sick from that food. And, and so I was a little bit hesitant to actually engage with raw food or this. What is the dangers of this?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that it's very cleansing. If fruit, especially, very cleansing to the body. So it depends on our toxic level. If you're very toxic and you go raw food, right away, you will have a cleansing, a detoxifying effect. And so it may be that some of that was happening for you. I don't know the whole situation and the history and everything, but in the beginning, people will say, just give me a hamburger, because we're used to that and it fills us up. But raw food, it's a very detoxifying process. Like you're living a cleansing kind of life where you're cleansing all the time. And after a while, you got to give your body a little bit of time to adjust to it too. And maybe just do it gradually, starting gradually.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like...
Okay.
Go on, Margareta.
At the time, I thought that I had got food poisoning because it was like so rapidly. But I agree very much on that, that it is detoxifying. And I remember getting very angry.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because I think a lot of us, anything new, like we're so used to what we've been taught growing up. This is a little bit off subject, but still it's on track as well, because anything new, like for example, some people I know, any new food is just like, no, it's like, you don't want to eat this mango? I mean, it's like, all right, I'll eat the whole thing, thank you very much. But sometimes people have this idea, like if it's new, persimmons, I've never heard of that, or celeriac, I don't know what that is. I'm not saying it's you, Margarita, but for some people to introduce new things, it goes against everything they've been brought up. And it's like their family said, this is good. And so it's easy to eat what we've been told our entire lives that is good for us. But we have to just, be an explorer, take an adventure, try something new, and then try it a couple of times, especially with kids too. If you feed them once, it's going to be new. So do it a couple of times. And I think in France, they have somebody eat it like 7 times before they really decide.
Yeah, I wanted to give an experience of that. Maybe it's something like that, what you have experienced, Margarita. When I did fasting some 10 years ago or something, for 2 or 3 weeks, no food, only drinking. And then to eat again, you need to begin very, very slowly. Otherwise it's a shock, and the body, you really can get ill when you begin to eat immediately. And in this case, in your case, might have been that the body was used to completely different things, and then it is exposed to that, and it's like the body doesn't have the means to digest that the first time. And as you said, Pamela, you first need to get to use. To get used to that slowly.
You're so right, Heidi, too, as far as going off a cleanse. Like I do a 10-day cleanse 4 times a year. And the first time I did that cleanse, I felt fantastic. And, towards the end of it, the first couple of days, it's like, hey, I want some food. Give me some food. But then after 4, 5, 6 days, I just felt great. And then I started introducing food, and I had some packaged food in my cabinet, and I thought, well, I'm going to eat this. It was just lentils in a package, but I got so sick from that. I was just like, everything, it looked like it'd be totally fine, but when your body, and when my body starts to understand and say, thank you for giving me this really awesome food, then it becomes hypersensitive. Like, I don't want anything out of a package at all. So it's funny how something like that would have even seemed healthy to me years ago, and now it's just like, especially after a cleanse, especially right after introducing that, reintroducing it back to your body.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say a comment from Michael Thomas here. He says, fine-tuned processes and directions and definitions work differently for everyone. And thank you for that comment, Michael. And when we look to our internal situation, you mentioned mango there, Heidi, and of course I found out the hard way I'm allergic to it, because there is an enzyme inside of the shell of the mango that makes my stomach be like painful for 6 hours. So I can't eat it. I mean, maybe I can overcome that allergy, let's say. My father was a doctor, and he says, yeah, that's very known fact, that if you eat something near the peel, then that could happen for you, right?
I've heard the same thing, like you have to be careful about the mango peel. Sometimes if you get the peel in there, it can be pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I experienced that myself. I thought I would die, actually. Like the stomach was like a knot. So Michael's comment there is very, very accurate, because I think when we explore this, I mean, I have had a mostly vegetarian diet for many years now, and I have a little bit of fish or chicken sometimes, but I prefer the vegetarian diet before meat products. And yeah, so I don't know, Heidi, with your
I would like to bring up this comment from
Go ahead.
He says, starting by integrating small amounts of the new food is best. I think it's everywhere, not only food, that we need to begin everything in little bits, gradually, because our body doesn't want big changes.
Right. Thanks for the comment, Lon. And it reminds me of, I believe it's in France, where they will sit the children next to each other. Like if one child really loves broccoli or spinach or something that you know is good for you, they will deliberately sit the other children next to that one, because a lot of it's peer pressure too. It's like, I've had parents too in my classes where the parents, or even out here at Back to Eden Farm, it's a beautiful documentary called Back to Eden, and the parents go out there and they go, oh, you don't want that. And I hear them say that to their children, you don't want that. You know, it's right out of the ground. But the kids will just take it out of the ground, rub the dirt off, and eat it. And the food is so fantastic out there. And then also when you get the kids involved with it, like I have a spiralizer and you can make zucchini noodles and it's really fun. And my nephews love it. So when kids grow like broccoli sprouts, or if they're growing things and they see the process and then they start to create things with it, they love it. So peer pressure is huge. Environment, if you're in an environment where nobody is supporting you, that's why I love doing the mastermind groups. I'm going to be doing more in 2015 because I've seen so many people who have great intentions. They really want to succeed in creating a healthy body, but their environment is so not conducive to supporting them. We see ads for McDonald's, we see Burger King, we have all of these people saying, come on, have another piece of cake, you know, it's just, you know, there's nothing wrong with cake once in a while, but, you know, if you're in that environment that is supporting you and wanting to feel loved, or you're part of our tribe, it can be really difficult to stay on track. But once you get past that first month or so, and like Lon says, you know, you introduce it small and you keep going and going with a support team around you. And I always thought I could do everything on my own. I'm that kind of person. But now I'm really appreciating the power of a support group around us, kindred spirits, to help us, you know, in the direction we want to go, not the other way.
I love what you said before also. You said never be too dogmatic about that. So as Christmas is coming, you know, when you eat a little more, in my opinion, it's not bad. You know, when you stay there, oh, I cannot eat this and I cannot eat that and I cannot eat, unless you are really ill. I do it that way.
I totally
allow
agree.
yourself.
And you know what? I think food is important, but relationships are just as important, if not more important, the relationships we have with other people. So, yeah, it encompasses so much. I mean, it's much more than food. But food, I'll tell you now that when I celebrate with people, it feels a lot different than when I celebrated years ago. I mean, I go to vegan Thanksgiving potlucks, and Christmas will be the same thing, and just enjoying the food and taking it in and celebrating and singing and all of that, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I just love what you're saying there, because if we also let go of our judgments with food, then we can also let go of the judgments of ourselves. And then I think that if we're judging ourselves, that's very toxic. What do you say about that?
Well, it reminds me of a fabulous book called Dying to Be Me. And this woman, the author, had a near-death experience and came back, and she realized on the other side that she was judging herself and so controlling about everything that it was impeding her health. And so I think we need to get all the information and understand about the Kirlian photography and all of these evidence that shows us high vibration foods, but then also to enjoy life. You know, isn't that what it's all about? Enjoy life and be with your friends and you know, just bless things, just bless everything and enjoy it.
Yeah, because when you are in a group, for me, food is very important as a group experience. It was in my family. We were 5 children, and so we all met for food. And now when you give an invitation or are invited, and there are people who, you know, don't eat that, and don't eat that, and don't eat that. And when you eat this, then they look like that. This is no fun. I mean, if you want to eat something else, then it's offered. Don't blame the people that they don't give it to you, but bring it for yourself.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm always bringing my own stuff.
Yeah, and don't make a big fuss about it, you know?
Right.
You should eat that. I'm eating that, and you should do that too. You know, this is no fun. It can destroy the whole celebration.
Oh, totally. You know, and I love gathering around food and bringing things and sharing things and enjoying it together. And I also think, why can't we do things that don't involve food? I mean, sometimes let's just all go out for a walk together. You know, let's go to the beach. Let's do charades. You know, let's do some singing together. And it doesn't always have to be, maybe this is just my own thing, but I don't like it to always revolve around food. I like to be active. I like to go out and do other things, and just, you know, if you want to bring some food to have on the way, go for it. But I really think as families, I do a lot of improv. I love improvisation because it brings people together, and it's all about how can we connect and have a good time, be honest, be in the moment, and do things like that as well. So yeah, because it's just more fun.
Food seems to be a very elemental thing. It is connected with survival and with celebrating that there is food. For instance, when I had the choir, you know, we sang, and often, at least once a month afterwards, everybody had brought some food, and we sit together with food and wine. Food seems to be something special for being together, even if you go for a walk, but at least go somewhere and have a cappuccino, you know? So
Definitely. It is elemental, as you say, yeah.
I have a question for you, Pamela, right? Can I say Pamela too?
I love it how you say Pamela, please.
Pamela, it's like passionate. And why I'm talking about passionate is, so when we bless the food, can you give us an example how to do that?
Well, yeah, it's been a while, but I can remember saying that bless everything, bless the ground this was grown in, bless the people who cultivated it and brought it to the store or the farmer's market, bless the people at the farmer's market, bless the people who prepared the food, bless the sunlight, the earth, the rain, everything that went into creating that, and then you take that in, and that all becomes a part of you. And then the care that went into it. You know, if you are what you eat, then that care from all those people that you're taking that in, you become part of them. It's a magical experience, really. And then sometimes, like I've been to places where I'll order a chai, something like that, and there was one time where it was made and the person was just so angry and just like, oh, and it just felt so weird. I didn't even want to take it in because it's just like, I don't want to drink that anymore. You know what I mean? So yeah, bless the food. That's a little example. I would just say, just bless everyone who's come together and bless the people who have, you know, shipped the food, everything, and you start to see the connection and how far back it goes and how widespread it is.
The thing is that many people would think what you say is a little bit woo-woo.
Right.
But I know that there are already now researches about that, and it is very, very clearly comes out that by having gratitude, for instance, by considering, as you said, the workers and whatever it takes to have the food, that it changes the not the chemical qualities, but the energetic qualities.
Yeah,
This is a little bit off topic, but there is very good research about, for instance, what music can do for the growth of plants.
Oh, totally. I love that. Have you seen the The Secret Life of Plants, where they had, I think it was 2 cauliflowers growing together, and they had one woman come in and just hack off this one, I think it was a cauliflower, and then the other cauliflower was still living, and they had it hooked up to some kind of sensory, and the same woman walked in, and that plant just started going like this because it saw that woman. I was just like, that is amazing.
Yeah, this is one thing, and the other thing, they did research planting the same greenhouses, the same conditions, everything the same, and in one greenhouse they put music like Mozart all the time, 24 hours, and the other greenhouse something like boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And the Mozart plants grew and embraced the loudspeakers, you know, and the other plants sort of shied away from the loudspeakers. So
they constrict just like we do. You know, when you feel something that is at a dissonance level, you just kind of constrict. But when you feel safe, when we all feel safe, you know, everything just starts to expand. Yeah. They've done that with corn in the Midwestern part of the United States too. And some of this corn with the music playing was way taller than the other corn. And, you know, for the people out there who think it's woo-woo, I totally get that, because I grew up on a farm and we just had food just to keep us going, right? It was a no-frills kind of deal. But then when I went to culinary school and we started making like these tomato roses or something to put on top of it, I used to think that was crazy. To take time to do that, it's like, come on, just give me the food, let's keep going. But now, and, you know, just to explore with it. That's why I always encourage people, just play around with it. You know, you can always go back to how you feel, but when you play with it and you start to create things in your own kitchen, notice that how you feel when you eat it, when you've done just a little bit. And I know we're all stressed out. I know we have a lot of things going on, but sometimes it only takes a few extra seconds to put it on a nicer plate or to say a little gratitude prayer, something like that. And then just play with it. See what difference it makes for you.
Yeah, or arrange the food nicely on the, you know, in Italy in summer when you have tomatoes red, then mozzarella white, and basil green. You can make so nice arrangements with that, and it's like art in some way.
It is. It's like art, and the Japanese really have this down. When I first went to Japan and I looked at some of their, like even the lunch boxes they send kids to school with, are just so beautiful. It's just like, and then you're taking that in, you know, you're eating that beauty, and you become, I really think you feel more beautiful.
We will come back to that. I am very sure. We are in the times where we rediscover beauty. So.
There is a comment here from Michael Thomas. Healthy diet, clean structure, and healthy activity invokes stable harmony. And he still have that little happy face there. Thank you so much, Michael, for that comment.
Wonderful. I think with that we have already come to a good closure. We would ask some final words of our guests and of us. Who wants to begin? Margarita, you?
Well, my takeaway is to actually see Pamela embody the cauliflower's distance from the loudspeaker and to the other when the other plant was, you know, like, this is how we people are. And if that is the takeaway, that if we can keep that energy inside in our mind, it's like a mind training, and it starts with the food. And if we have happy food, we become happy. And I'm so grateful to you, Pamela, that you came to us today.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Margarita. It's just awesome to connect. I mean, the beauty of the internet to connect all of us. And I've realized that we all have so much in common. You know, no matter where we are, we have a lot in common. And yeah, I guess I would just close by saying thanks for joining us on the replay or this live event. And then if you do want more information, I've got some training on elementalcuisine.com, just as far as if you're getting started with more plant-based diets. You know, I've just got training to show you, like, what foods need to go in the refrigerator, which one should you leave out on the counter, how can you store it more easily, how can you prep it faster, and things like that. So it's a good way to start if you just want to get a little bit re-inspired to get back to a healthier diet. That's a good resource right there.
Wonderful. I thank you very much, Pamela. And I would say health begins everywhere, but first of all with the food, and then with the mind. And we didn't go very much in the spirit, but also there. And we are just integrated beings. When we are integrated beings, then we can call ourselves healthy, I would say. So thank you very much. And Margarita, we have holidays now for 2 weeks, I think.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about that for our new year coming up?
Yes, and then so we take a little break for 2 weeks, and then the 8th of January, we're going to come back with an episode, and we're going to talk about New Year's intentions. And so join us for that episode, because we will lead you through a process how you also can actually solidify your intentions for the coming year. So that makes our promise, our gift to you for the next year. And I want to thank everybody who has been on our show for this length of time. I mean, this is a real step forward for us. I'm sure Heidi agrees with me that we've done this show from scratch, basically. So thank you so much for being here, and have a happy holiday.
Yeah, and I want to add something. If you feel alone in the holiday and you really would like to have a new partner or get your relationship a little better, I will offer at the end of January a course about the relationship beyond your wildest dreams in the beta version, so it is quite cheap, and if you are interested, come and jump up and connect with me. Okay, thank you. Have good time during the celebrations. Eat whatever you want. Afterwards you can eat just fruit for some days and it will be okay. Bye bye.